7:14 a.m. Siberia. The sky splits open. An explosion rocks the earth. It's heard 1,000 kilometers away. It smashes windows. It knocks people off their feet. Seismic stations in London record the tremor. In a split second, 80 million trees are flattened. 2,000 square kilometers of forest, an area the size of modern-day Tokyo, is destroyed. It was the largest impact event in recorded history. 12 megatons. 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb that would destroy Hiroshima 40 years later. But here's the mystery. When scientists finally reached the site, they found no crater, no meteorite, just a butterfly-shaped scar on the land. What hit us? A rock? A comet? Or something else entirely? Today we unseal the file on the Tunguska Event. This is Dark Files Unsealed. For 19 years, the site remained untouched. Russia was busy with war and revolution. Finally, in 1927, mineralogist Leonid Kulik fought his way into the zone. He expected to find a massive crater filled with valuable meteoric iron. Instead, he found the telegraph pole forest. At ground zero, the trees were still standing, but they were stripped of all branches and bark, burned to charcoal. Around them, for miles in every direction, the trees were knocked flat, all pointing away from the center like compass needles. Kulik was baffled. If a meteor hits the ground, it makes a hole. Simple physics, but there was no hole. He drained swamps, thinking the impactor was buried in the mud. He found nothing. It was as if the object had simply exploded in the sky. It took decades for science to catch up with this mystery. We now know it was an airburst. When a rocky asteroid enters our atmosphere at over 30,000 miles per hour, the pressure is immense. The air in front of it becomes like a solid wall. The rock fractures, heats up to nearly 50,000 degrees, and then it detonates. It acts exactly like a nuclear bomb. The Tunguska object exploded at an altitude of about 5 to 10 kilometers. The shockwave went down, struck the ground, and bounced back up. That's why the trees at ground zero remained standing. The pressure came from directly above them. But if it was a rock, where are the fragments? Where is the dust? The lack of debris led to some wild theories. The first suspect was a comet, a dirty snowball from space. The idea was that it exploded, and the ice simply evaporated. No crater, no rock. This would also explain the strange bright nights seen across Europe for days afterward, caused by ice crystals high in the atmosphere reflecting sunlight. Then there's Lake Checo. Some Italian scientists believe a small fragment did hit the ground, creating this lake, which is 8 kilometers from the epicenter. It certainly looks like a crater, but studies of the sediment at the bottom of the lake have been inconclusive. Of course, this mystery attracted more fringe ideas. Some proposed a tiny black hole passed through the Earth. Others blamed antimatter, suggesting a small chunk of it annihilated on contact with our atmosphere. A popular conspiracy theory even claims that inventor Nikola Tesla fired a wireless energy weapon from New York that same day. There is zero evidence for this. And naturally, there's the alien theory. A nuclear-powered spacecraft exploded mid-air. But in 2013, a clue to the real answer arrived from another explosion. February 15th, 2013. Chelyabinsk, Russia. A smaller asteroid exploded over the city. It was captured on thousands of dashboard cameras. It was the same phenomenon. An airburst. This event proved that stony asteroids can, and do, explode high in the atmosphere without ever hitting the ground. This renewed interest in the Tunguska case. Scientists went back and looked closer at the peat bogs at the original site, and they finally found them. Microscopic spheres, tiny diamonds, traces of meteoric dust that had rained down after the explosion a century earlier. The smoking gun was there all along. It was just too small to see. It was likely a stony asteroid, about 50 to 60 meters wide. It didn't vanish. It vaporized. So, File 35 is closed. The culprit was a rock, not a spaceship. But the horror of what it represents remains. If the Tunguska object had arrived just 4 hours later, the Earth's rotation would have put a different target in its path. It wouldn't have hit a remote Siberian forest. It would have hit St. Petersburg. It would have wiped the imperial capital off the map, killing hundreds of thousands. It was a cosmic warning shot, a nuclear-scale explosion delivered courtesy of the universe. We are simply drifting in a cosmic shooting gallery, and next time it might not be a forest. The file is closed, but the skies is falling. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more declassified files.